All my life Satan tried to get me. Walking my shoes, devil trying to fit me. But he don't know I got the power fit me. Nah, he don't know I got that power. All my life Satan tried to get me. Walking my shoes, devil trying to fit me. But he don't know I got the power fit me. Nah, he don't know I walk in power fit me.
Hey, good evening, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. This is your man H Rap tapping in as I do every week at this time. This is the End of the Bench on Build and Destroy. This is on End of the Bench Media. This is Build and Destroy, where I attempt to build up the community, destroy the lies and propaganda that's behind the community. Thank you. If you're watching on YouTube, I haven't put it on my website. I do that after the show. I haven't put it on my website. If you're watching on YouTube, share. Tell a friend and tune in. Hit that like, hit that share. Thank you. Subscribe. I need you. Thank you. As I do every week, I'm going to give my parents, pay respects to my parents, Dolores and John. Without Dolores and John, there is no Brian. There's no H-Rap. There is no End of the Bench. Without them, there is no me. Thank you for tuning in. Your support is greatly appreciated. Thank you. Now, today is going to be an interesting show. I think I'm going to offend some people today. It's not by choice. I'm not trying to offend anyone, but I am going to be speaking directly. I am going to speak directly to people. I'm going to be direct. I'm going to shoot straight. I'm going to shoot from the hip. All the stuff that people say when they're talking about, I'm going to get a hard facts, right? And what I'm going to do, the reason I'm doing that is I believe we need to just start talking to people directly to people. I don't want to drag my feet. I don't want to drag my knuckles. I don't want to do any of that. What I want to do is put you in a position to whereas you know definitely how I feel. And you're going to understand that I'm coming from a loving place. I never want to hurt anyone's feelings. I never want to offend anyone. So the words that I'm going to use today, they're going to seem a bit curt. I must seem as if I am being disregarding of feelings, but I'm not. It's truly coming from a loving place. I love my people. I love my community. I love all of humanity. And in order to do that, sometimes you have to be direct. You have to break a couple eggs to make an omelet. And again, it is not coming from a hurtful place. Today, we are in a situation to whereas in the United States of America, ignorance is at an all-time high. Stupidity is being conditioned into the human lexicon. Into the United States lexicon. People are allowed to be as ignorant as they want to be. They can be as uninformed if they want to be. They can sit around and pretend as if they know things that they have no clue about. And when you pretend you know things that you have no clue about, you set yourself and the people around you back. There is never going to be a problem saying, I don't know, or knowing you don't know. If you're in a room that you know everything and everybody around you, they know everything, guess what happens? You never grow. Being wrong is not a bad thing. Being wrong is the best thing you can do every day. If you think you know something and then you assume that you know something, you will close down your ability to grow with that. So what I'm going to do today is talk about the ignorance that is basically manufactured and put into the community. And I don't mean just the Black community, I mean the American community, but anybody who watches this program understands that I'm talking to Black people first and foremost at all times directly. Understand that. And guess what? There's a Jewish guy somewhere doing a podcast. There's a Latino guy doing a podcast. There's a Asian guy doing a podcast of all different ethnicities. And so I'm speaking to my folks. And if you think that's a problem, sucks to be you. I'm not going to change. But I am speaking to all humanity. And again, it's just like anything else. If you are to improve life, you must improve life in your house. I must be the best H-Rap I can be. And then I could, when like the terminology of what would that question they ask you all the time. If you could talk to your younger self, what would you tell your younger self? Guess what? I talk to my younger self 3 or 4 times a day, 3 or 4 times a week. They are in the form of Bria and BJ. That is me as younger people. When you talk to your children, you are talking to your younger self because the mistakes that you made, you have the ability and if you have the intestinal fortitude, you can pour all your mistakes into your children and let them know smart people learn from their mistakes intelligent people and wise people learn from other people's mistakes. And that's you talking to your younger you. But because we are conditioned to be stupid. And I did say we. I did not say you. I did not say I did not say you. I just said you guys. We are conditioned to be stupid. Stupid is just like the word ignorant. It's not a negative connotation attached to stupid. Stupid is uninformed. Stupid is to be void of knowledge, to be void of information. Stupidity is manufactured into the American lexicon today. You can look at it in the movies, you can look at it in the television, you can look at it in the conversation, you can look at it in social media. If you like one thing that you perceive as funny, you'll see something along those lines. The algorithm, what they call the algorithm, will be pushed towards you. And that's, you like dogs, you're gonna see a lot of dogs. If you look at one fight and there's something humorous in that fight, they're gonna push fights to you. If you see arguments that you like, and that person makes a salient point, you go hit like, and bam, you're gonna see all those arguments. So stupidity is manufactured to go directly to you. And guess what? When you are in a disenfranchised or a working class situation, guess what? You are looking for something to have an infusion of dopamine to enhance your day each and every day. So guess what? You may laugh at that fight, but that's not what you want to see every day. So guess what? Again, it is manufactured and put right into your life. And this is why I'm talking today. This is the topic of discussion today, how we are conditioned to be stupid. Everything about us is being conditioned to be stupid. Us. And again, when I say the word stupid, I'm including myself, because what you have to do is this. Live in yourself. You have to live inside of who you are. And when you live inside of who you are, you don't have time to point out the flaws of somebody else. So when we are paying attention to nonsensical things, and not understanding, living in our purpose, living in everything that we've created, understand that you are created by the Most High Creator. You can call him Jesus, you call him Jehovah Jireh, you call him Allah, you call him whatever you want. But the creator of the universe, the architect of the universe, is inside of you. And I'm going to touch on that a little bit later in hopes to inspire you. But understand the greatness that lives inside of you. Our brains have been co-opted by the power structure. And what do I mean by that? It has been taken over by the power structure and made you believe that you're less than and more inferior to, and you don't have the ability to do. If I walked up to the average person and said, here's $1. Go play the lottery, you'll win today. More than likely, that person will say, but what if I don't win? That's because you have been trained to live in lack. Look, y'all know I'm a faith-based person. Y'all know I love the Lord. And y'all know I go to church. I'm a deacon in my church, and I go to Bible study. Y'all know this. Everybody who knows me know that I ain't ashamed of anything about how I represent God. So if the power of life and death lives in the tongue, why would you say what's not going to happen? But what if it don't happen? Guess what? If it don't happen, it didn't cost you anything because I gave you the $1. But if it does happen, what happens if I give it $1 to you and get $1 to the next person? You put the $1 in your pocket, keep walking down the street, the next person go in there and play and win. That was your money to win. There's no such thing as a missed blessing. That blessing just goes to the next person. Are you still blessed with the $1? Indeed. Indeed you are. You're blessed with that $1. But you know what? God don't live in satisfactory. God is not a C student. God is an A+ student. God is an A+ students in AP classes. The highest rating academics and the highest grade. Anything that you want, you can have. But we have been trained to think less of. Look, the first thing that one of the stupidest things, and this is all my POV point of view, one of the stupidest things we ever get entangled with is where we're from. We're everywhereans. Yeah, I made that up. That's not a real word. We are everywhereans. There's no place on the face of this earth that you can go and you don't see people that look like you and I. If you don't agree, all you have to do is this is what I want you to do. As I say every week, I want you to press me. You have $1,000 computer in your hand, more powerful than the computers that were used to get the people on the moon, more powerful than the dudes who sent off the first nuclear weapon. And you got that in your hand. You have the information superhighway in your hand. All you have to do, if you don't think we were everywhere, the pyramids are the oldest structures. The pyramids in Giza, Egypt, are the oldest structures according to documentation. The oldest structures known to man, right? Which is not true, but we're going to go with that. Now, those are the oldest pyramids that we know of, or that have been documented or put in front of you. But guess what? There are younger pyramids in South America. There are younger pyramids in Mexico. There are pyramids that have been found in the place that you call the Grand Canyon. That's why you don't go to the back of the Grand Canyon, because you'll discover there are pyramids in the great state of Colorado. There have been found pyramids as far north as Alaska and North America. North Pole. There are pyramids in Asia. There are pyramids in China. There are pyramids in Japan. When you see the Chinese statues, think of a Chinese person. You think of a person, slight build, small lips, or they're just a regular human being, right? There's one thing that separates the black man and the black woman from the rest of the universe. We have full, thick lips. We have wide noses and nostrils, and we have tight curl on our hair. Some people are stupid enough to call it nappy in a negative connotation, but it's a tight curl. Or like me, I have a relatively loose curl. When you look at Chinese statues, you see people with full lips. Just look at it. All you have to do, challenge you to go look it up now. You see people with full lips on those statues, and you see little knots in their head. You probably never paid attention to that. That's because we were there. Australia, totally a whole nother world away from Africa. The Aboriginal people. That just means the original people. They're black. New Zealand, black. Hawaii, black people. Polynesian people are infused with black people. We were there. California, my man D Great just came into the chat room. He can confirm it. One of the biggest prisons in the state of California is the Folsom prison. If you look up the word Folsom and in California, you'll see 10,000 years ago in California, there were black people. Everywhereans. See, we get caught up in this, and the stupidity of the whole thing is this. The stupidity of the whole thing is this. You have been limited to say, oh, well, we're from Africa. And then you got some people that say, oh, we're from Turtle Island. For those who don't know, the original name for the United States of America is Turtle Island. I'm from Turtle Island. I was here before them. Cool. Now, when you've been co-opted and your information has been co-opted, it really don't make a difference where you're from, does it? Understand, if you take, this is how great you are. You've heard me, if you watched my program before, you've heard me say, you are a sum total of everybody in your genealogy. Like with me, George and Maddie Mae, Richard and Dolores. Then go Theodore and Esther, and so forth and so on. If you go back 10,000 sets of grandparents, you know who you find? You find God. God would be your father. Mother Nature would be your mother. If you believe the story, God reached down, made a man of the dirt, breathed life into him. What was the dirt? The dirt would be Mother Nature. Birth through the man. The man is birthed from Mother Nature. He breathed life into that man. That man became a man. The man became a living soul. The living soul is Adam. Adam was laid down, and a woman was made of Adam. That's how the story goes, right? So if you are made of God, does it really make a difference? And God made the world. Does it really make a difference which continent you were on? And if you look at the South American continent and the African continent, you can clearly see at one point they were connected. It's a direct connection. That's called evolution of the planet. So if you're evolved from God, then guess what? There's nothing you cannot do. So somebody say, oh, you ignorant. No, I may not be good at the things you're good at. You may not be good at the things I'm good at. Oh, guess what? There's some people who are multifaceted and they're good at all things, at a lot of things. But nobody's good at everything and nobody's good at nothing. So why would you buy into this thing? Oh, I'm from Africa. You're from God. So it don't make a difference where you're from. Now, y'all understand that I believe in tribes. The tribe I'm part of is the African-American tribe, the Black tribe, the Soul Brother, whatever we're going to call it. That's the tribe I'm part of. That's the tribe I address every week, right? So you've been dumbed down to, even when you say you're part of the United States tribe, you don't even say you're from the United States. Most people in the United States of America don't even say they're in the United States. They say, I'm American. This is stupidity in saying that. Guess who else is an American? Mexicans, Canadians, they're American because this is North America. But if you notice, if you're a Mexican, you say you're Mexican. You don't say you're American. You say you're a Mexican. You don't even say you're from the United States. You say, I'm American. Which one? North, South, or Central? Again, this is the ignorance that's being poured into you. You are everywhere in every place on this planet your lineage has been. God created the earth, therefore you have been everywhere. He didn't say you can't go anywhere. You can only stay here. You know why it's white people? Because black people walk their behinds up in Europe and your nose is full. And your nose, evolution made your nose, that black man's nose shrink, and evolution made his hair go down to protect his neck and keep him warm. That's why you got white people. And then you can go around, you know, why the average temperature on the continent of Africa is 85 degrees. Hence, your nose is wider to keep your brain cool so you won't pass out and die. Evolution. The giraffe at one point had a neck like the horse, and the leaves kept growing. His neck kept growing to evolve. So this is what I'm talking about. When you don't have the cognitive intelligence to disseminate lies or BS, you fall into traps. You fall into hate mongering. You fall into a whole lot of things. You can fall into a situation where you don't even address yourself properly. We call ourselves niggas and bees. Why are we doing that? Why would I take, oh man, that's a term of endearment. I'm going to take some mop water and clean it out, and then I'm going to drink it versus going to the faucet or going to get a bottle of water and drink it. No, that is stupid. And we've been tricked into believing that's a good way to handle things. No, it's not. Every time you turn around, what is it? CRT. CRT is a class that you have to go to graduate school. So that means you have to graduate from elementary school, some places junior high, high school, graduate from high school, graduate from college, and then go to grad school to take CRT. Critical race theory. Critical race theory is not a class. Oh, they're going to be teaching that in schools. Yeah, it's a class that you literally have to pay for. It's an elective. So if you don't elect to take it, you'll never see it. But they convinced you that the process of learning of who you are and how race has evolved and devolved the human psyche and evolved throughout the United States of America, you are wrong for doing that. We don't want CRT. You see people, what's CRT? I don't know, but I just know I don't like it. Okay. I don't know what couscous tastes like. I'm not going to tell you I don't like it. I just don't know what it tastes like. I don't know what caviar tastes like. I hear it's salty, but I don't know what it tastes like, so I can't comment on it. And that's the stupidity of being a member of this community in these United States of America. We will pass judgment. We will see people that don't do things our way, and we'll say, this is wrong. You shouldn't. You need to know better. Look, every culture on this planet has its own separate dialect. You even have different dialects here in the United States of America. When you in the South Carolina, you got the Gullah Geechee. They have some of this white man's English, this bastardized language that we call English, because the English that we speak is not the English that they speak in Europe. Therefore, it is an inculcation of several different languages: Latin, German, French, even other languages that were created here. And then you got people saying you're speaking that incorrectly. I understand their standards in regards to English. I understand that. Don't get me wrong, but we still have dialects. Dialects separate things. There's over 2,800 dialects on the continent of Africa with 53 countries. You think people over there saying, hey man, you said that wrong? No, I ain't got no. And when you live on the west side of Chicago, you might hear people say things like pantses. It's only one pair of pants, but they say pantses. Look it. Now, in the traditional English, you will go, no, you need to not say that. But guess what? Do you understand what they're saying? Then that works. Should you do your best to speak the King's English to the Queen's taste? Of course. But let's not get away from judging people, and then you won't be judged not. Yeah, ye be judged. Yeah, I got a few biblical references for you today because I think it is important to filter out this stupidity and this inability to grow through community. I am supposed to learn from you. You're supposed to learn from me. We are supposed to teach someone. That's it. Stop judging people with this foolishness and this hate mongering. And also, most important, stop using that idiot box to tell you what's wrong with this person. When you talk about politics, well, these people haven't done anything up until and including the moment until you create a list of things that you want, create a group of people that support that list, that have those same problems, come together with another group, and you guys get together, and then you present it to a group of people. Until you do that, I don't want to hear anything about what one group doesn't do. Another thing, if another group is highlighting what this group doesn't do, if they're not presenting you with a package of saying, and we're going to do this, maybe they're lying too. See, we must get away from this foolishness and this nonsense about what we could, what we should, what we can't, what we won't, and what isn't going to happen. No one, you have no friends. The story of the United States of America is a story that is mentioned by one of my favorite historians, one of my favorite scholars in the history of the world. His name is John Henry Clark. Some stories don't have a good guy. Some stories don't have a good guy. And we are living in the midst of a country where there are no good guys. We have no friends. So that's another quote by the great John Henry Clark. We have no friends. We don't. Black man in America, you have no friends. You know who your friend is? That lady who sleeps next to you, or that lady who calls you, or that lady that you're talking to. She's your best friend, and he's your best friend, black woman. Everybody else, it's questionable. No one owes you anything but your significant other, and vice versa. But we don't live in that world, because guess what? That lady will die protecting you. And you will hurt somebody protecting her, and kill and destroy somebody who brings harm in her way. And that's the way, and everybody up under you guys, under your umbrella, that's the way you need to be living. But we're not living that way. We're being told you should. This is how. No, you're not successful unless I become a millionaire. And then my closest two friends, they become millionaires as well. Maybe I have 10 and they have 3. But guess what? They are not successful until they make somebody get $1.5 million. And those $1.5 million people, they're not successful until they get some people with $750,000. And that $750,000, $375,000, $250,000, and so forth and so on. That's what success is. You cannot sit at a table and eat steak and call yourself successful, and everybody around you starving. And then you throw them the bone. Well, I gave you the bone. Everybody, now you got flavor. No. You can't be successful in that way. Just right. I spoke about this about a month ago. It's called rugged individualism. You can no longer be successful you've never been successful with rugged individualism. Not as brown people in this world. And then again, as I stated last week, we're living up to these so-called standards of people who run the country. But these people are descendants of the scum of the earth. I'm just being honest with you. These people were kicked out of Europe and sent over here. They had cannibalistic ways. They started eating their wives and their children. And the people who we know as natives, the Aboriginal people, the people we identify as the Aboriginal people of North America, they taught those people to get their act together. And then they turned around and killed those people, and they gave them diseases, purposely gave them disease, and so forth and so on. We had the United States of America. H-Rap came on today, and that's part of the history, right? But these are the things that we need to be leery of. I'm going to give you an example. I'm going to show you this video. It's like this is a short video. I didn't do the whole video this time because I got a lot to say. I'm going to show you this video. And in this video, you will see how your culture has been co-opted. And then they use your culture against you as something negative. Right now, it is. I'll be back in 3 minutes, 6 seconds. Man, H-Rap. This is Build and Destroy on Enter the Bench Media. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. Holla at your boy. 2 fingers, 1 word. I'll be back.
What's the history of the word woke, and why is it now a bad word? Today we're going to find out. Before woke evolved into an all-encompassing term to describe left political ideology, or for shorthand for people on the left in general, or even worse, weaponized as a soft N-word. But before 2014, the phrase woke and stay woke was simply a call for African Americans to be on the lookout or be careful in a system that was created to be unjust. The concept of wokeness can be traced back to the early 20th century in a call to action by Jamaican philosopher and social activist Marcus Garvey. In 1923, Marcus Garvey called for global Black citizens to wake up Ethiopia, to wake up Africa. This call to action aimed to foster social and political awareness, and one of the earliest known examples of wokeness as an idea of Black consciousness waking itself up. A few years later, 1938, the phrase "stay woke" turned up in a song about the Scottsboro Boys, a protest song by blues musician Hughie Ledbetter, aka Leadbelly. The song chronicles the unjust trial and conviction of 9 Black African American teenagers in Scottsboro, Alabama in 1931 who were wrongfully accused of raping 2 white women. Leadbelly said that he met the Scottsboro defendant's lawyer and introduced him to the men himself. When I made this little song down there, Leadbelly says, I also advise everybody to be a little careful when they go down there, and it's best to stay woke and keep your eyes open. Leadbelly uses the phrase "stay woke" as a symbol of African Americans' need to stay aware of the dangers of white America and the racial motivations that they face. This use became the most common and most consistent use of the phrase ever since. 1962, the New York Times published an article by Black novelist William Melvin Kelly entitled "If You Woke, You Dig It." No Mickey Mouse can be expected to follow today's Negro idiom without hip assist. Kelly's piece discussed the origins of the beatnik culture and language, such words like cool and dig, and highlighted the fact that these terms did not originate with white America, but with Black jazz musicians. He argued that to understand language in this culture, one needed a hip assist from African American culture. Kelly's article discusses the ever-changing nature of Black American vernacular and the importance of preserving it from exploitation or alteration by white people. Given that this is the earliest mainstream reference of the term woke, is an opinion piece that warned against the habit of white Americans appropriating Black vernacular. In a way, it seems that the word even predicted its own fate. Today, of course, the word woke and its derivatives, such as politically correct, social justice warrior, cancel culture, have been adopted by conservative groups to insult people on the left. The phrases have become so negatively charged, they've been labeled as skunk terms. This has led to people abandoning their use, as the malicious intent of those words have made them so unpleasant that they can't be employed in their original context. February 3rd, 1903, Jack Johnson earned a victory.
None of that. I didn't want to show you the whole video because I got a lot to say this evening. Maybe I put you know what? If you subscribe on YouTube, you'll see that whole video. I'll post it later. Subscribe on YouTube, and I'll holler at your boy. I need your supports. Hit that like, hit that share, subscribe. And guess what? I'm starting doing what everybody else doing. I'm begging. If you want to donate to the show, there you go. Cash out your boy $1, 50 cents, 25 cents, whatever you want to do. Help your boy out. I got stuff to do. But on the serious side, as you saw, this is what I was talking about. This is stupidity. This is how stupidity is engineered into our community. As you see, as far back as 100 years ago, we use our, you know what? Excuse me. As far back as 300 years ago, when we were enslaved, we used our musical talents to tell our people how to get away from the bondage. One day, I'm gonna have a conversation with some people. I'm gonna do a panel, and we're gonna talk about enslavement, and you can see how ingenious our people were, and we can see how you are everywhere in. But we're not gonna talk about that today, and we'll talk about something else today. But like I was saying, this is proof positive that you are an agrarian. You don't have to allow people to dictate what you do, how you represent yourself, and everything about you. What you do is you put yourself in a situation to where it's advantageous to your joy, to your happiness, to everything that is beneficial to you. And you don't allow people to dictate what they're doing for and to you. This is the movement that I am attempting. This is the movement I have started, and this is the movement that I will grow. And this is what will happen. It could be, there's no possibilities. This is what is going to happen. And I'll speak about that shortly. This is the first time in the history of our community that music does not represent what's going on in our community. You know, we can go back to Duke Ellington. We can go back to Cab Calloway and all those great gentlemen. Then you can talk about the advent of rock and roll music with Chubby Checker and Little Richard. Then you got the soul music of the 60s, the Motown sound, the soul music of the 70s. They were always telling you, to quote the great Marvin Gaye, what's going on. You are looking at things where entertainment is, again, dumbing us down. Who does not like the groove? We some groovy people. We groove. We understand it. We let the docile tones of an awesome singer mellow us out. We let the beat of a George Clinton and a funk band gin us up. This is who we are. The drum is one of the most instrumental instruments in the history of the world, and we created the drum. So don't think I'm saying don't get your groove on. But your groove on is not the only thing. You can get your groove on, and I can also give you a message, Earth, Wind, and Fire. You can get your groove on, and I can give you a message, Hal Melvin and the Blue Notes. You can get your groove on, Curtis Mayfield, Marvin Gaye, so forth, Gladys Knight, so forth and so on. We have opportunities to educate and enhance our lives with our music and our talents, our art. We no longer do that. We've gone from the latest and greatest inspiration, Hal Melvin and the Blue Notes, to Booty Hole Brown. Booty Hole Brown. And I didn't say anything. I just wanted you to hear that. Latest and greatest information, inspiration, Teddy Pendergrass, Hal Melvin and the Blue Notes, Booty Hole Brown. Come on, man. And don't get me wrong. I'm not going to be foolish enough to go, hey, man, it wasn't, man, my mother had Millie Jackson hours. So I'm not going to act as if during that same period, it wasn't Vogue music. When you think about the Ohio Players, Skin Tight is about a prostitute. But you do see how the message was undertone. Skin Tight was about a prostitute. But we didn't say, hey, look at her butt. Look at it. They described her in a lewd way, but they hit it. Rick James had a song called Mary Jane about smoking marijuana. I'm not pretending that this dude, that music had no flaws, but it's a thing called tact. We're dumbing ourselves down. Entertainment is dumbing us down. And you know, this is what the wicked people of this world even do. They take the word of God and put it on the screen, give it another name. They take pieces of the word of God, give it another name, present it to you, and you think, what a keen idea. But again, if you study to deem yourself, to show yourself worthy, that's what I want you to do. The book of Judges, chapter 6 through 8. It's a guy by the name of Gideon in that book, in that chapter, in those chapters. And Gideon had 300 people that he had to get to go fight these people. Is that the movie 300? You notice how they take what's yours, and the reason I say it's yours is because monotheology, the study of one God, not a sun God, not a moon God, not a water God, not a rain God, study of one God. Take the word of God as it has been disseminated through God's people, present it to God's people as something totally different, and makes himself look like a deity. Again, enhancing your stupidity, manufacturing your stupidity, and you are praising a false God. Look, that's a great story by Martin Scorsese, by whoever it is. You think it's him and it's really God. And you've been separated from God so long. Like I told you, if you go back 10,000 generations, you'll find out that your great grandfather is your father, which is God. Your great grandmother, which is Mother Nature, is God. And here you are, which means you have no limitations. But you've been told that you have limitations because you refuse to open books. You refuse. You know what? You don't even have to open a book anymore. They got books that'll read to you. You can go to YouTube. You're on YouTube now watching me. You know, people in the future be watching me. You can go to YouTube and just look up things. Look up anything. And then you'll find that your greatness has been inculcated in the world. And like I told, 40. Now, it's 40 after the hour. And I told somebody, I told him if he wasn't in, I would tell him that I'm bookmarking it from one of my homeboys. Texting him as I do this. And you'll find that even simple things like cartoons They have God connected, but you think, oh, that's a minimalization and that's nothing. That's mindless fodder. But one of the things that God has told you in the Word of God, whether it be the Quran, the Holy Bible, the Dead Sea Scrolls, the Sota pages, or any other holy books that work the world, that control the world, the truth will be presented to you. You can't get around the truth. What they do is instead they put it in other things and make you ignore the truth and make you think it's meant. They think you is it's nothing. But let's look at these cartoons. Like the most popular thing in the world right now is the Marvel comics and the DC comic movies. And how does that have anything to do with God? The power of life and death is through the tongue, right? Right. The power of life and death sits in your mouth, right here. You can say what God said. Whatever you think, whatever you say will happen. That manifests itself something as simple. Please just listen. Hear me. Don't just listen. You can't, listen, don't just hear. When you watch things like DC Comics, the Green Lantern, what's another word? What is the green synonymous with? Go. What is going? Power, the power of will. Making you thinking, a man thinketh, so he is. It's not that you have a lack. It's not the person who's poor that has lack. It's the dude who doesn't want more. That's the poor guy, right? Now, what I want you to understand is this. Let's go back to the Green Lantern, like I was saying. The Green Lantern is one of the most powerful heroes in the DC universe because he has the power of green, gold, will, another as a synonym for willpower. And he has this power, and he manifests it. I want a car. I want a train. I want a rocket ship. I want to be able to lift this. Whatever he says, it happens. His direct enemy is this dude named Sinister. Sinister. No, you know what? It's not Sinister. Sinestro. Sinestro, which is a synonym for sinister. Sinister. What brings about sinister? Fear. What is Sinestro? Yellow. What's synonym for yellow? Slow down. What's another synonym for yellow? Fear. Fear and faith can't live in the same place. So if the person with the green and gold and the willpower, all he has to do is think it and it happens. It's always fighting the dude in the yellow, which is caution and fear. That fear controls you, and that fear is, hey man, you can't say that H, right? Like my man, God bless him, my oldest brother. He told me, man, you can't speak about things like this. This is why they kill people like Fred Hampton and Martin King and those guys. But I can't be fearful of that because I have to tell the truth. The truth is going to get out. The God is with me, so I ain't worried about that, right? But back to Sinestro. Fear, it slows you down. It stops you. You don't have the ability to move forward. So if you don't have the ability to move forward, and you got this Sinestro thing, sinister thing slowing you down, infusing you with fear instead of you using your willpower to be the greatest person you can be. And this is in direct conflict with God. Chapter 14 and through chapter 14, verse 12. Yearly, I'm paraphrasing because I don't, as much as I read and study, I can't quote the Bible. That's why I got Pastor Dodd. It starts off yearly, and then basically Jesus said, I will teach you to do things even greater than me. Now you might say, man, Jesus is God and it's the Trinity, and how you gonna be greater than Jesus? Because Jesus is only here for a limited period of time, and Jesus was spreading the word. He wasn't even living in his fullness because he is part of the Holy Trinity. He is part of the Lord. So he didn't even live it. He was going to teach you to be greater than him in a human form, not him in an God, the one that walked the earth. So if God is telling you, I'm going to teach you how to be greater than me, and you continue to live through your willpower and say, I'm going to ... I have the ability to ... This is what I'm going to get ... This is what you will be in store for. Or you can continue to deal with Sinestro, the yellow, be cowardice, slow down, be cautious, not live up to your capabilities, and then you can fail miserably in life. These are the things that I'm telling you, and this is what we are. This is why I keep using the word stupidity. Stupidity is living in the inability to live in your full self, walk through your ability, community. Well, we can't get together because you just created a deficit in your life because you said can't. You said won't, can't, and don't. Why is it that when we make plans, the first thing in that plan is, well, this is going to be in our way? Why are you even thinking that way? But that's because that is stupidity. Because how do you come up with a plan and then immediately go to how that plan is going to fail? That makes absolutely positively no sense. You are living in direct conflict of the creator of the universe. God told you you can have all things through me. And you turn around and say, no, I can't. Because again, stupidity, ignorance, foolishness, failure has been manufactured into you. They told you that you were less than. They told you that you can't have. They told you what you were incapable of. But guess what? Throughout all this ignorance, let's just go through some of the things. We got Crispus Attucks, an enslaved brother. You got Sojourner Truth. You got Harriet Tubman. You got Frederick Douglass. That's in an insane. You have the Chubb family down there in Chubb, Georgia, in the middle of the Confederate that created a town. You have a group of people who were enslaved for 200 years, 200 or 300 years. And when they were in bondage for those years, what did they do? 8 years after coming out of enslavement, what did they do? It used to be illegal to read, so they were at a 4% literacy rate. And that's let me put a pin in that and then back map. They were at a 40% literacy rate. That makes you believe that these people are living in lack mentally, right? No, they were not. At a 40% literacy rate for this culture, they were geniuses where they came from. So if I go to Spain right now, if I go to Mexico right now, if I go any non-English speaking country, I am illiterate. I don't perceive myself as dumb at all, but I'm illiterate in their language. So back to this. 4% literacy rate. 10 years later, they were reading at a 84% clip. These are the people that you come from. You have grown into who you are with that. And then you create laws like red line and Jim Crow segregation and things of that nature. And we still became millionaires and in some cases billionaires. Then you got millionaires along the way. Man, about 25 years later, you got towns throughout the United States of America that we created. We've taken office. And I'm not talking about in 2024. I'm talking about less than 1924. I'm talking about less than 1790. The war ended in 1865. I'm talking about 1890. We were doing these things. You had Black people in elected positions. You had people like Frederick Douglass teaching himself how to read a language that was not his. This is what I want you to understand. Don't settle for less because you were not created for less. If you believe in God, again, no matter what you call him, you do not have an existence of lack. Lack means nothing to you. Lack does not exist in your world because you are not created to be regular. Again, your max might be, Michael Jordan's max is not my max. I played football. Deion Sanders was not my max, but they can't do this. I can guarantee you, you go get Deion Sanders, you go get Michael Jordan, they can't do this. Not as good as I do. I can't play football and basketball as well as they can. They can't podcast. And there's some other things that I can do that's greater than them. But that's just what I'm doing right now. So what I want you to understand is if you're living in a situation to where as you're waiting on someone, you have no friends. Your community is your friend. And stop arming people to attack you. So your community is your friend. So stop arming people outside of your community. How do we arm people? We immediately arm them by saying what we can't do. The second code of armor is telling people what our weaknesses are. You think turtles say, hey, flip me over, stab me in the chest. That's how you kill me. You think alligators say, hey, I'm bulletproof on the top. But if you stab me right here in the back of my neck, I can kill you. You can shoot. You think a rhinoceros would tell somebody? No. So we are thinking people. We're not sentient beings. Sentient beings is a person that feels. You can feel. You have that as a skill set, but that's not who you are. We're thinkers. That's why we have dominion over the earth because we think. And if you're thinking, why do you have people like Charlemagne the Clown and others saying, hey, well, I can't speak for all Black people. We're not a monolith. So why wouldn't you want people to think that they can come at you with the same game plan? See, if you respect people, when you approach them in a different fashion. My man Fly Tie just showed up. I'm not going to talk to Fly Tie about the same thing I talked to Big Illinois, because Big Illinois and Fly Tie have two different interests. Now, if he asks me a question, I'm going to answer it the same. But as I speak to Fly Tie, me and Fly Tie are going to have one conversation. Me and Big Illinois are going to have another conversation. Me and my sister Phyllis are going to have one conversation. Me and my sister Theodore are going to have another conversation. I'm not switching up. I'm just not approaching them. Everybody isn't universal. And you know why you do it that way? Because you respect that individual. I can't make Fly Tie talk about Chicago because he's from Virginia. I can't make Big Illinois talk about Virginia because he's from Chicago. So you respect people enough to ask questions, understand who they are, and then you can communicate. But if you're going to volunteer the information, I'm not a monolith, then people don't even have to respect you. They don't let it. Respect should be an option. Force them to make the effort to understand who you as an individual. That's who you are. But if you don't even respect me, if you just come to me, hey man, I got some chicken if you're hungry, that means you haven't respected me enough to attempt to get to know me as an individual. So that means you don't respect me, period. That's how you do it. But you got people on TV, well, we're not the same. Why wouldn't you let people assume that you're the same so then you would determine if they're going to respect you or not? But we don't do that. We arm them with information on how to destroy us at all times. We must, we shall, and we can get away from that thinking. All you have to do is you have to listen to people like James Baldwin. If you want to hear some true intellect, listen to people like James Baldwin. I was listening to a speech today, an interview today with James Baldwin, Malcolm X, and these two black men. Two black men, a white man, James Baldwin and Malcolm X. Everybody was diametrically, a lot of these people were diametrically opposed to what Malcolm X's ideology. James Baldwin didn't agree with it, but he understood it. He respected Malcolm X enough to respect his point of view, yet disagree with it. And when they attacked Malcolm X, he defended it. That's how we move. That's how we're successful. I don't have to agree with you. I may pray to Buddha. You may pray to Allah. Somebody else may pray to Jesus. But since we all in the same boat, we need to be respecting each other the same, no matter what. The most powerful thing you can do is respect somebody. And also one of the most powerful things you can do is live in your own truth. Be who you are. Be who you are. Don't be ashamed to be from the hood. Don't be ashamed, like in Chicago. I'm not ashamed of being from the west side of Chicago. Even though I am a north sider, through and through, I am a north sider. But I was born on the west side of Chicago. So when people ask me where I'm not from, it is a determiner of respect in the city of Chicago. It's a sad commentary. I'll get into that another time for you. I don't identify as a north side. I say west side. You know why? Because then I know who I'm dealing with. Because when you say I'm from the west side, people are not from the west side. If they respectful people, they go, oh yeah, where you from? I got family over there. Oh, okay. And the conversation continues. Disrespectful people go, oh, the west side. And then I know how to deal with that person accordingly. But I also live in my true self. That's all I can do. I'm funny. I'm a horrible speller. I'm good at math. I got a great memory. I'm a kind person. I'm also mean, snake, and difficult to get along with at times. I'm moody, I'm grumpy, and all that type of stuff. I'm living in my truth. Are some of those things flaws? Indeed, they are. Am I proud of my flaws? No, I'm not. I'm embracing them. I understand them. I move forward, and I try to improve on all of them. That's just it. And Black people, coast to coast, border to border, I need you to understand who we are. Some of us live in the hood? Yep. Have some of us made mistakes? Indeed, we have. Are some of those mistakes unforgivable? No, all of them are. Even in some cases, if you unlived somebody, there's people out there that'll forgive you. But once you embrace who you are and how you live and what your purpose in life is, then no one can hold anything against you. No one can wag their finger at you. No one can make you feel bad about who you are. And that's the way you need to be living. We are creative. We are artistic. We are loving people. And if you don't believe that, that's where the problem lies. So in this election cycle, We're going to stop believing what the television says, and we're going to look into the history of these people. And even when we did, we got crap in one hand and crap with perfume on it in the other hand. If you don't want to just smell crap, you go with the crap with the perfume. That's just what you do. Pick the people. This is a story. The election process in the United States of America, there is no good smelling fruit. But guess what? Determine which one is best for you, your best interest. Who's making promises to you versus identifying flaws in others. I don't care what you have done in the past. What are you going to do tomorrow? Because you can't change the past. I can't change the time that I put that dent in my mama's car. That car don't even exist anymore. I just make sure I don't put a dent in my car. That's all I need. What I want you to do is understand to love yourself, love your family, love your community, love your city, love your culture, and you'll be able to get through this as well. Don't allow the people who are made to destroy you attack your mind and reduce you to what they believe you are. You are a great person. God loves you, and so do I. This is your man H-Rap. I'm wrapping up early because you know what to do. Actually, there is no study today. I'm going to be a guest on another program shortly. So I want you to think about what I said. Listen to this again. And I'll tell my man, and I text Mo in the middle of the show that it was at the 40-minute point when I started talking about what I told him he needed to hear. As y'all know, I send a shout out to the people who inspire me. I want to thank you guys. If y'all haven't already, man, I need some of y'all to hit that subscribe button. Subscribe. I see people keep coming in. Thank you for tuning in. Go back to the beginning of the show, say hey. And if you're coming in now, comment. When you see something, say, hey man, I like that, or I don't like that, or this is whack, or I wish I was you, and then you can always do this. You can always do this. This would be greatly appreciated. You can hit your boy up right there. I want to salute the people who give me inspiration. I do this every week. Salute the people who give me inspiration. That is Willie D, Tariq Nasheed, Talib Kweli, Ray Grady, Al Sharpton, Roland Martin, Sway Calloway, my personal favorites, Larry Daniel favorite, Clay Kane, one of the most informative people I've ever come in contact with. That's Dr. Greg Carr. And the queen of Black Talklandia, stole that from Larry Daniel favorites. That is the professor, Karen Hunter. Those people and the other people like H. Rap Brown, Huey P. Newton, Fred Hampton, my father, my mother, Malcolm X, Stokely Carmichael, Whitney Young, Ralph Bunch, Adam Clayton Powell, and others. Those are ancestors that inspire me. Thank you for tuning in. Tell a friend to tune in. It's your man H-Rap, 2 fingers, 1 word. And as y'all all know, for the people in the back that wanted to get up and walk away and didn't like what I said. Sit your ass down. Sit your ass down. And the people who don't like my people and think we are not good.
You better shut your white mouth. I'm not kidding you.
All I'm here to do is uplift my people, love my people, and keep it funky.
Can you dig it? Can you dig it? Can you dig it?
We lust for that cheese, we lose sleep, dreams of that cream. We killing our teens, they dying for this American dream. Them government schemes, they turning us to hustlers and fiends. We hustling trees, them politicians smuggling green. Chasing that cheese, got everybody stressed in the streets. Pardon me for speaking freely, let it breathe. Evangelists preach the congregations out of their seats. They writing them checks for tithes, now it's people can't eat. She stripping for change for school, now she giving them brain. She used to that loot, she earning, now she giving them strain. He new to this game, but hungry, so he cooking his cane. He getting that paper, but then they gave him 2 to the brain. It's rules to this game, but hustlers never hustle for fame. The spirit of greed is grimy, so we struggle to change. They put us in chains to take away our African names. But if we submissive and don't resist, then who do we blame? It's all a game, man, these Europeans staking they claim. And you a victim of their game plan, you thinking they ain't. You thinking they saints, remember all them niggas they hang. Killed our women and our children, all our leaders is slain. They gave us Obama, but that nigga was hoping for change. But Zimmerman is killing niggas and he free. Shit is crazy, babies having these babies and getting checked. But keep the child from they pop to rip his heart out his chest. Our rappers was leaders and now they in the booth in the dress. Spitting bullshit and making more but giving us less. They taking our sound and changing ours, dumbing it down. They taking our jobs and homes and they shutting us out. They taking our kids because it ain't a man in the house. They locking us down, but soon they gon' be wiping us out. They told our women they was too independent to need a man. They told our brother he was too insignificant to advance. It's all a game, man. These Europeans staking they claim, and you a victim of their game plan. You thinking they ain't? You thinking they saints? Remember all them niggas they hang? Killed our women and our children. All our leaders is slain. It's all a game. We lust for that cheese, we lose sleep, dreams of that cream. We killing our teens, they down for this America.